Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's live stream. I'm Dr. Derek Wright, a co-owner of Houghton Horns, and I'm here to talk about descant horns today. There's been a horn that I actually purchased back in December that I haven't gotten a chance to introduce to you guys yet, and that is this Paxman 45M Heritage Descant. This horn is based off of the old Paxman 40 horns. Essentially, the Model 40 was the original design by Dick Merriweather. And this horn is filled with innovations, but one of them is the fact that the change valve here is positioned very close to the mouth pipe. So there's a short mouth pipe that leads into this change valve. And what that does is it allows each of the horns to get really close to the bore that's most appropriate for that particular horn, whether it's the B flat horn or the F alto horn, thus resulting in better response and handling for both sides of the horn. This is the Paxman 45 Heritage. The Paxman 45 has the change valve also close to the mouth pipe, but it's positioned in, but there's a change valve positioned in the bell tail. And I'll show you a picture here. Oops. Okay. Here is a picture of the Model 45. And you can see the change valve. There's a change valve right here at the bell tail versus the Heritage where the change valve is down here. Both horns are handling Heritage when I got once I played on it, I knew it was a great horn. I actually have some of the old compared to, because as great a horn as this is, you saw it cost about $11. One moment. So that is Q1, Q2. This is going into Q1. Okay. It seems like there's a technical issue here. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Not sure what it is. So is it that my voice isn't coming through at all, or is it that it's breaking up a bit? Okay, it seems like my voice is breaking up. It seems to be fine for now. The sound meters are saying that my voice is coming through. But if there are any other issues, please let me know. Anyway, as I was saying, where was I? So I was talking about the 45, and I was talking about it compared to an old 40. So you can see the 45 and the 40 have pretty much the exact same design. But there are a couple of really important changes with the Heritage. One, the Heritage uses a compact valve section. So the valves themselves are smaller diameter than the original 40. And that makes a big difference in weight. Even just holding these two side by side, the Heritage is much lighter than the old 40. The other important change has to do with the valve action. So using, old valve action from the 1980s, it works fine, but it's a little clanky, and the valves are a little heavy. So they're not as quick and easy to use as this horn, which has modern linkages. These are much quieter, much quicker, and really just a pleasure to use. If you're playing something technical on the old 40s, it can actually get a little tiring because the valve action is really heavy. But the modern linkages compared with the compact valve section make this as quick and easy as any of the horns that have the easiest valve action out there. Paxman's really making great horns these days. So actually, I have a soft spot in my heart for Paxman because I played a Paxman 25L with titanium valves for 8 years. I played it for 4 years of my undergraduate degree, 2 years of my master's degree, and 2 years of my doctoral degree. And I only got rid of it because I got it in my head that I needed to get a true Geyer style horn. Paxman's they have a sound that's close to a Geyer style horn, but if you take a look at the wrap, it's not wrapped like a true Geyer style. So I thought, okay, I see all these true Geyer style horns in orchestras. I need a true Geyer style horn. And I got one, and I sold the Paxman 25L, and I've kind of regretted it ever since. Because that Paxman 25L was just an amazing horn. When I got the new Geyer style horn, no one thought that I sounded better on it, but I just thought that that's what I needed. So don't fall into that trap. And because of that, I'm still a big Paxman fan. And to this day, I've never played any other horn for 8 years. So it's the horn that I've had the longest. But anyway, you're here for a horn comparison, not to listen to me reminisce about previous horns. So let's do a direct comparison between the Heritage 45M and an old 40M. So I have to admit I made a pretty big mistake there in that comparison. I compared it to the 40L that I had and not the other 40M. So here's one more comparison. The previous comparison was between a 45M Heritage and a 40L. But now let's try it with the 40M and the Paxman Heritage. So as you can see, they sound pretty similar, at least to my ear. But the Heritage, the valve action is so much better. And the Heritage also just responded easier for me. The older 40M took a little bit more energy to get started. However, looking at an old 40M is still a great option, especially when you consider the price difference. So here's the thing about descant horns. You should be really sure that anyone that you buy is something that you really like, because they're kind of hard to move. There aren't that many people out there looking for descant horns. So as you can see, used, this 40M is $64.95. Now this horn is a little older, and it does have a couple of patches on it, but the valves have been recently rebuilt. You can see with these compression ratings, they're all starting 1. So this horn still has a lot of life left in it. A lot of life left in it. It's made of gold brass, which is, I would normally recommend yellow brass, but gold brass is good if you want just a little bit of a more mellow sound. And it is literally half the price. Well, not quite literally, but it is close to half the price of the Paxman 45M Heritage. So yeah, if you don't have $11,000 to spend on a horn, getting a used descant is a great option. Now, why do you need a descant horn? Descant horns are great, especially if you're playing high parts, first and third, and especially if you're gonna take high auditions. You've heard me play a few excerpts already that are great on descant horn. Ravel Piano Concerto is one of them. The Bach Brandenburg, and so is the what was the first one that I played? That wasn't the Fairy's Kiss. The Queen Mab Scherzo. The thing is, though, is that you can't think of a descant as just a double horn with a high button. You choose to play a descant horn because you want to make an artistic choice. Descant horns tend to sound lighter and a little bit more airy, a little bit bouncier than a double horn. Because if you have a great high register, all of the excerpts can be played on a double horn. It's harder. Yes, it's harder, and that extra effort that you have to put into playing high can cut back on some of the phrasing and some of your musical thinking. But overall, if you can't play the high notes, you don't want to get a descant horn so that you can play the high notes. It's about making the art better. For example, I'll play the Queen Mab Scherzo on a double, and then I'll play it on the descant, and then you can hear the difference yourself. Try it again. Let me try that. I'm going to play the Brandenburg as one more comparison, especially since I had both mics on that time. So as you can hear, the double horn sounded just heavier and more labored. I hit most of the notes on both of them, but the descant was just lighter and easier, and would, in my strong opinion there, make a much better impression if you're playing something like that in a performance or in an audition, which is really just another kind of performance. But yeah, so that's a comparison between the descant and the double. I see someone here asking if I could say some words about the non-heritage 45. Sadly, I don't have the non-heritage 45 here with me, but what I like about the heritage 45 is the sound. So I understand with the non-heritage 45, they did make some acoustic improvements to increase the length of the F alto lead pipe, which is supposed to and does in a little way improve the handling of the high F horn. But I think it, just in my personal opinion, it causes something to be missing in the sound. It also results in a bigger, heavier rotor to change, which affects the feel. But mostly it's lacking something in the sound that I believe the older 40s have. Even though, yes, theoretically, the non-Heritage 45 is an acoustic improvement. But yeah. Which side of the horn did you play the Berlioz on? Are you talking about the double horn? I played it on the B flat side. On the descant horn, it was still mostly on the B flat side with the high B flats on the descant horn, on the F alto horn. As I said, the first one is your preferred. I'm actually not sure which comparison you're referring to there. But in the descant comparison, yes, I prefer the 45 Heritage over the 40M. Now let's take a look at bell sizes, because in our used descant horns, you can choose between the 40L and the 40M. So I'm going to compare both of those and let's see what the difference is. This is the 40L, by the way. So I'm starting with the larger one. So to my ear, at least, there was a big difference in the sound between the M and the L. I prefer the M because I felt like it was a little bit more compact, a little bit more descant-like. And the L, in my opinion, sounded closer to the sound of a double horn. So I think there it's just going to be your preference. If you want a descant horn that sounds closer to a double horn sound, then I would go with the L bell, the 40L. But if I want a double horn that, in my opinion, sounds more like a descant horn, where you're really making a difference between that and your double, I would go with the horn with the M bell. And by the way, Paxman bells are not interchangeable. So people ask that every once in a while. You can't take an L bell and put it on a Paxman with an M bell, etc. It's because it's not just the bell flare that's different on Paxmans; it's the entire tail. And if you swap it around, you're just creating acoustic mismatches. So yeah, that is the difference between the 40M and the 40L. But I really can't emphasize enough, whether you go for a special order of a new descant, like I did, or if you try to find an older descant or something like that, if you're a serious player and you want to take high horn auditions or play high parts in general, you really need to have a descant horn. And I know some people, when they have a certain audition or a certain performance coming up, they'll try to borrow someone's descant. You know, can I borrow this for a few weeks, or can I borrow this for a few days before the audition? And that I would not do, because a lot of times when you hear people play descants, you can tell that they never touch this thing. They rarely play it, and it's kind of jarring because you can hear that they're not comfortable on that horn. It takes time to really learn to play a descant, and I'm not saying I'm a master at it. I am still definitely in the process of truly learning how to play descant horn, but it takes a lighter feel, it takes a different airstream, and it takes practice to really become comfortable with it and sound like, hey, I am comfortable on this descant horn, and I can play it just as easily as any double. So yeah, I believe that, you know, instead of borrowing one, you know, when you need one, it's good to have one and practice it on a daily basis. I try to spend 15 to 20 minutes a day on my descant. These days, I'm able to get in about 3 hours of practice a day. I wish I could do more, but you know, with family and the shop and all of that, that's really about it. And in that time, it's just 15, 20 minutes on the descant horn. I have some exercises that I'll play, etudes that I'll play. I'll practice excerpts on it. And times like this, I'm actually preparing for a few high horn auditions coming up this spring. I'll spend 45 minutes to an hour on the descant horn because I really want to sound solid on it. So by a descant. If you really just want to play low parts, or if you're not a serious player, you don't need a descant horn. And then there's always the debate between, should you use a descant and double, or should you use a triple? But I think that's really about it. Let me see. I have a few more chats here. I have someone here who's asking, so on the descants, you play written G above the staff, open on the B flat horn. Yes. When I play descant, I only use the high F horn, starting on A flat above the staff. So A flat, A, B, B flat, C. And other than that, I'll use the high F horn in some places in the staff, like G in the staff. I will play that on the descant horn, descant open, and F sharp in the staff. I'll play that descant F sharp, descant second valve. But other than that, I'm mostly playing on the B flat horn. Quick question. Okay. I play a newish Holton 8D. You probably mean Con 8D. Not sure of the exact type. Is there a good method you know of to get to the C above the staff? So I'm not sure what you mean by get to the C above the staff. Are you saying that the C above the staff is out of tune? I would say on most double horns, I do a lot of testing of horns with our bias system, the brass instrument analysis system. I did a previous talk and video about it if you're interested in knowing more about it. But what I found is that the vast majority of double horns are very, very sharp on C above the staff. So that's just something to be aware of, because what you don't want to do is play that C above the staff by trying to lip it down. I'm of the school of thought that you never want to lip notes anywhere, because what that does is it gets you out of the center of the note, and it gets you out of the desired tone of the note. So if you need to make adjustments in intonation, hand first, and slides, and you stick to changing intonation using those tools, and really resist the temptation to lip up or lip down. Oh, I see. I'm trying to expand my range, but I cap out right below there. So I like to use path exercises to expand my range. I'll demonstrate quickly here. So what I like about those harmonic series exercises is I'm trying to make sure there's a nice snap between all of the notes so that I can feel that they are snapping into the center of each slot. And I do that by using my air to move it around. So instead of like trying to use my lips and try to tighten up, I use my air to move around. And I guess it took me years to master it, so I wish there was a simple answer for you. But playing high really involves learning how not to over tighten your lips. Of course, you have to use more tension to play high than play low, but it's really easy to overdo that tension. And what those path exercises, those harmonic series exercises do is that they help you to rely more on your air to get around the horn rather than muscling your lips. I hope that answers your question a little bit. Okay, Eric D. Leon. Could you tell or explain about the F extension for those descant horns and where we can buy those extensions? Well, I can answer the last question. You can buy those extensions at Houghton Horns. No, we don't stock them. But generally, if you want an F extension, we would special order it from Paxman. They still have all of the templates for all their double horns, new and old, and we would just ask for an F extension and sell it to you that way. We've also handmade F extensions where Dennis has made an F extension in the shop, but really the best way to do it is just to buy the factory F extension, which is pretty much always going to be a special order because that's not something anyone would keep in stock. Holton H200. So yeah, you might need to have someone make you an extension. I'm not sure if Consumer. I know they don't make the H200 anymore, and I don't think they would be able to custom make you an F extension. But yeah, if you were just to contact our shop, we would be able to fabricate. We would be able to fabricate an F extension for you. By the way, for those of you who don't know what an F extension is, notice on the descant horn and on all these descant horns, there are actually two triggers here. One, and that's the one that's farthest away, that's for the high F horn. But the one that's closest to you is kind of a multi-purpose valve, and it depends on what you stick in this. So currently, it's a stopping valve. So you need a stopping valve on a single B flat horn or B flat high F horn because the method of stopping and lowering your pitch by half a step technically doesn't work unless you're using it on a low F horn. And that's why, in school and your teachers always said, hey, if you're stopping, use the low F horn. It acoustically doesn't work well on the B flat horn. So to get around that, on single B flat horns and on descant horns, there's a stopping valve. And that allows you to stop, and you press down a stopping valve, and then you don't need to transpose, and you're able to stop in tune. So that is why the stopping valve exists. But if you don't need to use the stopping valve, you can take this out, and you could put what's called an F extension into here. An F extension is generally a big tube. So if you see a descant horn and you see like some really long tube sticking out here, that is going to be an F extension. And the F extension allows you to play notes that you can't otherwise get on a B flat horn. So the F alto horn, of course, it's half the length of a low F horn. So a lot of those lower notes are going to be missing from that. But a lot of the lower notes are also missing from the B flat horn, especially when you get down below the staff. So what the F extension does is it allows you a way to actually fill in the gaps there and be able to get all of the notes throughout the horn's range on a descant horn or a single B flat horn for that. Single B flat horns generally also have the same multi-purpose valve that can be used as a stopping valve or an F extension. And there are a few other things you can put in there too, like shorter slides just for transposition, etc. But I hope that answers your question as to what an F extension is and why someone would use one. By the way, I would say the F extension is not a replacement for the low F side of a horn. So you wouldn't play a single B flat horn with an F extension and then call it a double. It's because it doesn't respond super well, and it's not. There are lots of compromises for an F extension to work, so it allows you to get those notes, but is by no means the replacement for the low F side of a horn. Okay, let me see if I'm missing any other questions. Thank you for all of your questions, by the way. These chats are always so much more fun when there's a lot of interplay and talking back and forth here. Oh, I missed one here. So please play an excerpt on the Heritage B flat horn. You know what? Yeah, I'll do that. Let me play a little. I'm going to play a little Mozart on the Heritage. Yeah, you're going to have to excuse the fingering on some of those Mozarts. It's definitely a little bit of a brain twister to suddenly play single B flat fingerings on one of the Mozarts when you're used to a double horn. But it is what it is. As string action on the Heritage. It's actually... Okay, the Paxman 40L I played has mechanical linkage, but the Heritage is string linkage for 1, 2, and 3. Of course, both of the triggers are mechanical because they have to be. There'd be no great way to make that string. Okay. And that seems to be it for the questions. So thank you all again for joining me. I'll be doing this again next week. If you want to make an appointment to come in and try some descants, just make an appointment and you can try out any of the used descants that we have. Again, the new Heritage descant is my personal descant, but if you're interested in trying that, just let me know and I can bring it and let you give it a try. If you promise not to move the slides, because it takes a long time to get those dialed in. Other than that, thank you very much and goodbye.